This video is brought to you by AKSIAS.
Hello everyone, welcome to AKSIAS. You're all aware that mains exam is going on for UPSC, and in that paper 2 GS1 has geography based questions. So I'm here to explain you how UPSC is picking the questions. After every 8 to 10 years, we observe change in UPSC pattern. We are in the midst of pandemic, and when pandemic is there, at the same time there is change in pattern in what UPSC is asking. And the beauty now is they are going to the basics. They're expecting you to know the basics. Most of the questions that they are asking are straightforward and they are picked from NCERTs itself. And if it is current affairs, the most easiest one from the current affairs related to the syllabus is picked. So, any student who is good with his basics, who is good in analyzing the examination pattern, especially with respect to syllabus, if he is able to analyze the key words of the syllabus and think what was there in current affairs with respect to that particular topic, he will be in a position to answer it better. So let us see what is the source for different questions that are coming and why a particular question is being asked. Remember, we won't get any repeated questions in future, but we may get to know the pattern, right? So first, to begin with, differentiate the causes of landslides in the Himalayan region and Western Ghats. See guys, landslides was very important because of Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand incidents. There were a lot of videos about that, and people were always thinking definitely there will be a question. But what will be the question, no one is aware. If you go back to NCERT class 11th, there is a box which talk about landslides. I'm talking about fundamentals of physical geography. If you go to landslides, in that box they have given differences between landslides in Himalayan region and Western Ghats, right? So directly picked from the NCERT. Last time also I have shown during prelims that questions are directly picked from NCERTs. Now also questions are picked from NCERT books itself. So when I keep telling in the class that it is very important for you to read geography from NCERTs, people never try to understand the intention behind our arguments. Now when they see questions directly, at least we feel future whenever you are going to write, you will have that clarity of thought that you are on the right track. See guys, I don't want to discuss the points because it doesn't make any sense. But for me, what is important is you must feel you are on the right track when you are preparing, that yes, these are the things UPSC is focusing now. I will read the old stuff, but also this new variation. Despite India being one of the countries of the Gondwana land, its mining industry contributes much less to its GDP in percentage. This is economic geography question, but you have in the syllabus minerals in India and the world. I'll come to world. Now in India, they have asked this especially because of the coal that was in news, right? And second thing, see the world, how they have linked it to geography. Gondwana land. From Wegener's theory, you know that Pangaea, when it split into Laurasia and Gondwana land, South America, Africa, Indo-Australia and Antarctica are part of Gondwana land. Africa and South America are good in mining, but they do not have iron ore and coal. India and Australia, on the other hand, have a lot of resources, including iron ore and coal. Now, why exactly we are not in a position, especially with respect to GDP, is because the contribution of other sectors are playing a major role, and most of the raw materials that we extract are in locations where you have forest, tribal, where mining leads to exclusive development, right? So these components, if you can bring in, as we have an economic survey as well, that would be good enough. Next, what are the environmental implications of the reclamation of the water bodies into urban land use? What is the meaning of this? When we talk about urbanization, we have some of the problems like urban heat island effect, we have urban floods, rapid spread of urbanization due to increasing population. Now this one, if we are talking, lakes and ponds, once they are getting dried up after 3 to 4 years of no rainfall, we normally observe that that land is being occupied by other people, right? So that land where the pond was there is being occupied now, and that has led to flooding and other issues, right? So this is typically associated with why urban heat island is increasing. This is urban problems, guys. Both in Indian society and geography, this is very, very common. Urbanization, when we go through it from different perspectives, you'll get to know what are these problems. Again, from the syllabus, see guys, mention the global occurrence of volcanic eruptions in 2021, direct question, and their impact on regional environment. Volcanic eruptions and their impact on regional environment. So when we talk about regional environment, you need to focus on the disasters which will happen. You need to talk about the materials which come out of the volcanic eruption, gases, tephra, and their impact on whether it is cloud formation, whether it is temperature, etc. Right? So this is very, very important for you. Why is India considered as a subcontinent? Directly picked from NCERT books, guys. 9th standard India physical, 11th standard India physical. If you take up these two books and if you go through it, where you talk about India being a subcontinent, that's enough. Directly asked. Fine. So no need to even think beyond. Those points, if you take, easily you can write for 10 marks. Whenever he is picking questions from NCERT, he is asking it for 10 marks. So it must be easy for you. Briefly mention the alignment of major mountain ranges of the world and explain their impact on local weather conditions. They are talking about the weather conditions. Now what is the alignment means? See, these are all application based but related to the syllabus itself. I have Rocky Mountains in North America, Andes Mountains in South America, Alps Mountains in Africa, Caucasus, Elbrus, Himalayas, right? Now, what is the local weather conditions? Weather means what? One is temperature. Altitude will play a very important role in temperature. Second is you will have mountain breeze and valley breeze. You can give examples of Chinook, Santa Ana, local winds which we have discussed in the class. Third, you can talk about orographic rainfall. And when you talk about orographic rainfall, you are talking about windward and leeward, right? And when you are talking about windward, forest will be there, leeward grasslands will be there. You can give example of prairies, pampas, which are on the leeward side. So this is one important aspect. See, always for these type of questions, relate it to the syllabus. Fine, relate it to the syllabus. The way you link and relate it to syllabus will always help you to clear this easily. Now, how do the melting of the Arctic ice and glaciers of Antarctic differently affect the weather patterns and human activities? So I'll divide them into two, weather and human activities. You need to talk about again temperature, rainfall, right? In rainfall you can talk about the floods, you can talk about droughts. Human activities, how is it affecting agriculture? How is it affecting settlements? How is it affecting industries? Because development is not possible now because there is curb on industrial development. They all come into picture under this particular one. Discuss the multi-dimensional implications of uneven distribution of mineral oil in the world. See guys, world distribution of resources, and see the question, please. You see here it is multi-dimensional implications. What is the meaning of multi-dimensional implications? I need to talk about the impact on the society. I need to talk about the impact on the politics. I need to talk about the impact on economy. I need to talk about impact on environment. If we are talking about oil which is present in Arctic region, how is it affecting the environment? If we are talking about the economy, how global economy is being affected, right? How dependency is there. If we are talking about the politics, we need to talk about whether it is terrorism, like West Asia gaining significance, Russia gaining significance. And then you need to talk about the society, the implications that are there on particular communities, migration. They all are part of this. See guys, gone are the days when it is like, you read one topic, on that day you go and write only that and come back. Interlinking is there. In paper 3 they are asking geography based questions but linked to economy. Paper 1 they are asking other topics. So multi-dimensionally, if you can bring in all aspects, that must be good enough. So guys, trying to tell you people, UPSC is becoming more basic. A student who is not aware about how UPSC is asking, and if he is still relying on some institutions' materials rather than reading basic books, if he is still waiting for someone to provide standard notes, then you are in the wrong path. Just try to ensure you work effectively with respect to the exam. As a student, your responsibility is to read everything in a proper structured manner. We at AKS IAS try to ensure that basics of students are clear so that their applications will be strengthened. That's the reason why we don't give some printed material randomly and we focus on giving you NCERTs and other standard books which are important for you. As so many materials are available in the market, students are really confused what to read and what not to read. But these exams are reiterating, please go back to basics. Many of our toppers who cleared the exam in their first attempt, in their interviews you might have already seen, they clearly mentioned that they read those basic books repeatedly, which made them to be in the list. So we are not asking you to leave other aspects, because as faculties we always tell read more, but ensure that you are not neglecting the basic part as well. If a student is not able to remember what is there in NCERT before prelims or before mains, he is not able to do justice to it. Whereas another student who has read it before exam, he writes better than you. It's all about this comparative analysis. You, with respect to others, will help you to crack this exam. Guys, definitely this is the time where you can crack this exam in first attempt, because people who attend coaching at this time will be having lot of clarity, because they will be listening things and that will be there freshly in their minds, compared to others who have not heard these, or it's been long that they read about this. So we wish you all the best. Please prepare in a proper manner. Anything, anytime, if you need, please feel free to ask us. The details of our contacts, app, everything is provided below. Just try to make best use of it and try to be in the list. Thank you guys.
This video is brought to you by AKSIAS.